Good morning, America. Hope you guys are all doing wonderful today. It doesn't charge, does it? No, I guess it doesn't. Oh, I know where that was. Shit. Now I know what happened to it. Now I remember. I remember. Do you remember? I remember. You guys sit there for a second and look out the window. Oh, well, thank you all for the thumbs up. Don't be scared. You will be greatly rewarded if you give me a thumbs up. I promise you will be greatly rewarded by providing a thumbs up. Thank you for that. Yes, indeed. Oh, here they are. Oh, no, I need to check the mail. Henry, how are you? I was going to go check my mail today and I forgot. So, that's all I know. How are you feeling today, Henry? Well, a lot of people in the background, as you can see. A lot of people in the background are intimidated by my beauty. You know, they go, wow, man, I stumbled across this live stream and here's this guy that's so handsome and charming looking that they get intimidated by my beauty. Or at least that's what I've been told, Henry. Yeah, good. Yeah, I'm still working on crap around here. You know, I gotta, tonight, wherever my list place goes, here, I gotta get a notepad. I'm almost out of small notepads. I have I got big notebooks that I use, but I use a lot of small ones. I'm almost out. I think this one's full. Shit. Does anybody want to send me a bunch of small notebooks about this size? Is this a clean page? Good. I like to write my stuff down on big notebooks when I think of it. Then as I go along, I refine my list down. Starting to walk around more, that's good. I might actually walk up to the mailbox. I was going to do it today, but I didn't do it. But I may actually walk out to our mailbox. Oh, I don't want to do that. Tomorrow, because I got mail to check. I know I got stuff I need to get out of the mailbox. But it's not a very far walk, but every little bit helps, right? I mean, if I was smart, I would just take the mobility scooter, but, you know, or drive the truck. But if I'm trying to be a little bit healthier, you know, I'm writing something down when I'm thinking of it. So, day 2 of your return, the Soul Lender is in the house. Are you getting excited about your track event this weekend? Are you feeling good today? Yeah, I know what you mean. I remember coming out of the coma and not being able to walk. How it took me a good, I don't know, man, maybe a month to get back to kind of normal after the coma from walking, or to be able to walk. Yes, I do. Tell us, tell us. Yes, we want to know what your time from the practice last night of the 400. Let me guess. Can I guess before you answer? Let me guess. 400-yard dash, I would say 48 seconds. 48 seconds. "48 seconds. I think that's a pretty good guess. For me, it would probably be 2 hours. 48 seconds. Thanks for the thumbs up, everybody. Oh my goodness gracious. Allergies are kicking in a little bit today. We had thunderstorms roll through, but nothing really happened. So we got a little sprinkle of rain, but no big thunderstorms like they said. So still fighting with the remodeling company to get their crap together to finish the project here. Every day I seem like I got to call them and yell at them. Or ask where you at. I'm not yelling at them, I'm asking them, where are you? Where we at? Where you at? Your guy was supposed to be here on Tuesday, he wasn't. Wednesday, he wasn't. Today's Thursday, you know. Solinder Henry is going to say in the 40 seconds. 40 seconds. I'm a little frustrated with the company doing the work. You know, when they were first here, I'm ready for the reveal. They took all the photos of the cabinet that we have. They documented it very well. And yet today, to this point, they still don't have an answer, which is really irritating. I'm thinking about going in there later, getting my Google identification app, snapshotting it, and asking Google to go find it for me. Because I think Google can find it and tell me what it is. Alexa's in the house. Good to see you. How are you? Everybody said hello to each other, by the way. I think mine was 48 seconds. You doing good? Nice, nice. How's the weather where you're at? It's a good day here. You know, it's 75 degrees, but it was a cool 75. So that's always a bummer to me. I like it when it's a warm 75. I didn't go outside much. I want to tell everybody what they need to guess before I say. All right. Well, keep asking people the question then. Mine would be about 10 minutes. I'm in my tablet. Nice. All right. What kind of tablet do you have? Can you ask who you want me to ask? Oh, PA. Hey, PA, how are you, buddy? Good to see you. We're trying to figure out how fast Solinder ran the 40-yard dash in his practice the other day. So anybody want to take a guess about how fast the young man can run a 40-yard dash? PA, it's good to see you, my friend. I haven't seen you in a little while. How you been? I hope, you know, for you and me both, spring season's coming, fishing's coming. Thank you for coming in. Thumbs up. So you're on an iPhone. Nice. All right. So am I. I'm on an iPhone. I am indeed. Triple T is in the house saying hello to everybody. You guys all got to say hello, hello. The 40-meter dash, 40-yard dash, doing pretty good. It's a typical day of the week. A little frustrating as I'm still dealing with an insurance claim on the house. So the Philippines, from what I've been told, well, we're in the United States currently, but from every time we talk to the Philippines every day, literally a lot every day. Gas is up, food is up, drama's up in the Philippines. So yes, Triple T, we are back here in the United States. We don't go back to the Philippines until next year. We go back in 27. So yes, we are in the great state of Arkansas. I have a YouTube channel. All right, well, tell us about your YouTube channel. Type the name of your YouTube channel. Now, I've never been to Thailand, but even the wife would like to go to Thailand. Would very much like to see the churches, or the, what do we call them, the religious structures, the architecture. Thailand and Taiwan is your second favorite. All right. Yeah, I think Thailand has kind of a mystic feeling about it. Kind of like, the temples, kind of like a very spiritual type of place. So I would love to go see that. So, Linder, yes, we are ready. Ready. Tell us how fast you ran the 40. You went to Palawan in 2018. Never been to Palawan. And I know a minute, 16 seconds. That sounds slow. Is that slow? Soul Linder? Is that slow? I don't know. I was giving you a thing. Let's see. I was fortunate to travel, yes, to Miramar. Oh, Miramar would be very cool. Let's see. Tim is also trying to run his mouth about keep your mouth shut. Or no, what did he tell me? Keep your face shut. No, thank you. If you don't like my face, you're more than welcome to get off of the live stream. So Solon is dropping his link. Great. Yes. MJ, sure. He's back in America right now. I talked to him yesterday. So yes, you're talking about MJ, right? Michael and Venus, Mike and Venus? Yes. I thought the same as Dave. See, we thought you were faster than that, Soul Linder. We were giving you a lot of credit because we know you're young and you're healthy, and we didn't know you were. But I really don't know if that's a fast speed for the 40-yard. I lay low. Yeah, I stopped supporting him. You mean just in general, or just going to his channel, or is there reason? Do you just not go there? You're talking about Michael, right? Because there's several Michaels that are out there, like Michael McFarlane. Well, the sad thing, they're all drunks. But like Michael McFarlane, or are you talking about Mike and Venus? Okay, Mike and, all right, just clarifying. Mike's a really good guy, but he can definitely not listen, especially if he's been drinking. And I've told Mike this face to face. When he's drinking, he doesn't listen, right? And so it's hard sometimes to carry on a conversation, which is what I like to do with everybody. With the YouTubers that drink a lot, you can't have a dialogue with them. And we have to just realize, as people that go to their channels, that's what's going to happen. I might start streaming again. Here, due to my phone case, all right, we better get you a stand and get it going. Yeah, don't be a slacker, Soul Linder. You guys check his channel out too, by the way. How old are you? How old do you think I am? How old do you think I am? That's the question. Me right now, it would not take me about 2 hours or more to do the 40-yard dash, but I'm not walking that good, yes. Can I, Triple T, can I ask, and thank you for being here and thumbs up. And if I'm ever mean to you, let me know. But can I ask, as like an example, is he just cutting people off? Because to be honest, I don't spend a lot of time on people's live streams because I hate to say this, but I find a lot of live streams boring because they won't have conversations with people. They won't let others talk. I try to read your comments. I try to answer your questions. I try to solicit input from all of you guys here in the chat. So I tried hard to do that. But a lot of channels really don't do that, so I don't hang out there. So, but you know, if you have an example. What? So he would come on and tell you how much he hated your live streams. So I was like, well, yeah. Look, and I do this all the time with people. If you don't like my content, you know what you can do about it, right? I don't care. You know what I mean? I got you. I would do the same. If you don't like my live streams, if you don't like my content, then don't be here. Right, Soul Linder? Dave, Soul Linder says I look 55. I can't drive 55, you know. Yeah, don't watch, you know, and that's okay. But the difference is, I wouldn't tell you, because unless you ask. And I do have a lot of YouTubers, especially young ones, that ask me a lot of advice about YouTubing. And I give them my honest opinion, whether they like it or not. But I'm just not going to criticize them just for shits and giggles. You have to ask me for my opinion, then I will give you my opinion. So we're 1.5 years. Wow, congratulations, man. Yeah, Tim's in the house. Good evening, PAC. Triple T, what I'll tell you is, it is hard. I told somebody the other day who was arguing with, maybe it was Michael, I don't know. Somebody on YouTube, hey Tim, somebody on YouTube, or one of my live streams was talking about this. And I had to explain to them that you can't argue with a drunk person. You know, you can't do it. You're not going to get anywhere. So there's no use in it. You can't argue with a drunk person. You're not going to win an argument with a drunk person. And that's one thing you got to quickly realize when you go to some of these live streams. Everybody say hello to Tim. For me, Tim's in the house. Henry's been sober for 15 years. Wow. Yeah, some housing 48. Whoever, gives me the youngest number about my age is the age I will be today. So, man, all these people in front of my house. Triple T saying, congratulations to you, Triple T. I said to you, and hey to you, Tim. Good day. Thank you for that, Soul Linder. Tim has 34 years sober. Outstanding. I don't like to guess people's age. To me, to be honest, and a lot of young people come on here and ask about your age. I don't know if you know that. But I'm used to it. It doesn't bother me. I don't care how old I am. I just let them kind of guess, and then I go with that because it really doesn't matter. But, Dave, you're in your 40s. See, maybe. Yeah, all right. That sounds good to me. So, Henry says he stopped drinking cold turkey. I guess the one thing I will say is I cannot, I take that back. I do not have a alcohol problem. I've never been a big drinker. I drink, but I might be lucky if I drink 12 drinks a year. So I'm not one of those big drinkers, but my brother has passed away from alcoholism. He's dead now, been gone now a good 5, 6, 7 years. So been there, done that. I know about addiction, a drug and alcohol addiction very well. I've just been blessed enough not to have gone down those roads. So, yep, you got to know your limits. Yes. Tim says, hello to you, Soul Linder. Soul Linder ran the 40-yard dash the other day, Tim. It took him 2 hours and 5 minutes. No, it wasn't that slow. I was thinking about me. Can't have, yes. Well, and that's why a lot of it is. You know, well, that's what an addiction is, to be honest, right? You can never have one. Now, I may be addicted to food or sugar. I think I'm probably addicted to sugar, which I know is not the same thing. I get that. But I do understand because I went through it with my brother, well, all of our lives, all of our adult lives. So I get it, you know. There you go. Call me No Limit Townsend. Nice. Can never get off. 1 weed sober from weed. 1 week sober. Well, our good friend Galactic Gaming, who comes on here, is working hard on his sobriety from weed. I need to talk to him. I need to send him a message. Check in how he's doing. He's a heavy weed user, but he's doing better now. So Henry says, I grew up drinking moonshine, so I was a big drinker for years, but one day I just got to, well, and I kind of did the same, you know. Can't type, that's all right. 1 month I was very heavy in weed. Well, that's where my good friend Rob was. So my good friend Galactic Gaming, Rob. He's from the UK, but, you know, him and I have had a lot of conversations about this topic. Shit, 6 ounces in a month? Woo! And then you got to, of course, think about the money you're spending. Now, are you currently in the United States, or which part of the world are you in? Tim says, when I run a race, they don't use a stopwatch. They use a calendar. A calendar. Yeah, they would have to use the Mayan calendar for me. So, meaning it would have to start over. You're up in Canada. Canada? Uh-oh, is that a UPS guy? Yes, I call it North America. So we renamed Canada North America. You know, because we're going to own you. We're going to own you. We don't want you, but we're going to own you. Oh, my goodness gracious. You know, and as Henry stated, you know, when I was a young man, 248,000 years ago, I went through a period. I looked like this literally when I was 16 years old. And I had brothers that were partiers and drinkers. I was in bars when I was at 16 doing bar fights, getting in all kinds of hell. But about the age of 21, 22, I was kind of burned out on all that drama. And I just really never got back into drinking very heavily, ever, you know. We don't want to be American. Well, I didn't say you're going to be Americans. We're just going to make you pay taxes to us. You know, we're not going to give you citizens, right, and call you Americans. We're just going to make you give us your money. Come on now. You know. Tim, how are you doing today? How's your air quality there in the Philippines? Well, I know, but we want you to pay your taxes to us. That's what we want. So, well, the immigration problem, you know, you guys can't have it any worse than we do, I don't think. Or maybe you do. Yeah. Henry says he basically grew up in a bar. Well, I know a lot of people that grew up behind the bars. So I knew a lot of them, I can tell you that. So, but yeah, not a big drinker. I don't smoke cigarettes or smoke dope. I've looked at, you know, I have a lot of health issues. And so I've gone down that road of medical marijuana. And I'll tell you, I didn't like it because all it did was make me want to sleep. And I don't like to sleep because I was in a coma a few years ago and I accidentally fell asleep and never woke up. And I went through, 10 months of living hell from being in a coma. So I have a real big issue in my life. I never fall asleep unintentionally. And when I would try to take the medical marijuana to ease the pain in the back, all it does is it makes me lazy and sleepy, but it doesn't take the pain away. So there's no reason for me to take it. Air quality index sucks. It's over woo wee. Man, what's going on there? Why, what's going on? You need to tell the government in the Philippines, look, you know, collectively, you need to get your shit together and help with the air quality there in the Philippines. Tim, you want me to write the government a letter for you? I'll write them a letter. I'll give them a stern talking to. So, all right, Triple Tree, you got to run to the store. It was good to see you. Thank you for being here. Please come back anytime. Don't stress over Mike. Don't worry about Mike. You just keep being you and doing you, and who cares, right? So you just don't worry about it. A lot of traffic outside my office today. Man, gracious, gracious, gracious. I'm having to make phone calls, and same phone call. I feel like I'm in Groundhog Day this week. I made the same request and all week long about our bathroom vanity to get it done. Where is it at? Next day, well, you didn't say, the guy didn't show up. So today I sent a message that was a little bit more legally and strongly worded. And so they're supposed to be here tomorrow. They don't have a cabinet, but now they're going to bring somebody over who thinks he can build a cabinet. Oh my God, it's driving me crazy. Too much construction and very little wind. All right. Well, if I remember right, a lot of the construction in the Philippines is how do I want to say, concrete base or coral base, shell base. So they're repulverizing hollow block into new hollow blocks. They're mixing a lot. So there is a lot of heavy dust in the air from when we were there. And I always thought, and I know it's the Philippines, but it'd be really good if they wetted it down like we do in America. In the United States now, we have a lot of rules about how you have to wet down your construction sites. So, and things of that nature, and that helps. I'll tell you, a funny thing was the other day, I went and got some gravel for a little side project on the side of my house to put my trash cans on. And I went up to this place that has all the mulch and the dirt and the gravels and a great big parking lot. And they've got that stuff so covered that when the wind kicks up, shit flies everywhere. And I was there one day when it was windy, going crazy. When I went in to pay for my rock, I heard them talking about how the neighborhood behind them are calling and complaining again. So I got a feeling that they're probably in some warm water about not keeping their parking lot cleaned and or keeping control of the dust that's flying around everywhere. And they could simply wet it down. Yeah, it's still dry season. Yeah. And so all the work that they do to pulverize. So, and that coral dust is very lightweight, and it gets up in the atmosphere pretty easily. And then, of course, you have the trash burning. When Typhoon Odette hit, and we finally were able, 10 days later to get out in public, 14 days later, be able to get moved around. One thing that drove me crazy was they were just burning everything. Right? You had big fires, downed houses and garbage and trees just everywhere. Just randomly, here's one, here's a pile, here's a pile, here's a pile. So the air quality back then was really rough for me because I was breathing smoke that I had no clue what may or may not been in that pile that they were burning from the cleanup of Typhoon Odette. So, and I'm sure that's the same way it is, but the last typhoon, cleanup, you got to burn it all, but you don't have a clue what it is, what's in there. Are there petroleum products in it? Tires, bodies, what are they doing? So, but I thought that was kind of interesting how they just had shit piled up and burning everywhere. So, but air quality is a little rough here today. We got storms come in and out, but we got a lot of pollen still in the air here. So hopefully it'll start cleaning up here. I'm ready for, the air temp to stabilize. We're supposed to be in the 80s this Saturday, so I think my wife will make me go do something with her. I don't know what we're going to do. I need to go to Lowe's Home Improvement store. I know that. We don't need to go to Sam's for anything, thank God. And we probably maybe only need to go to Walmart to get bananas. We eat bananas. You got storms coming tomorrow, you think? Yeah, we had storm clouds, but we only got like 4 minutes of sprinkles. So it was more towards Oklahoma, Kansas, and Missouri for us today. Sunday is supposed to be 50-50 chance, but Saturday here is supposed to be like mid-80s, a light breeze, and sunny. Sunny! So I'm kind of excited about that. I am. I did hang up a new camera outside to, what do you want to call it? Record my hummingbirds. So, I kind of got into having some hummingbirds come to my house. So now I've set up a camera that's focused right on where the hummingbirds come. And I mean, we're going to be able to see them like this. Wise looking tree is in the house. Says, I went swimming in the sea and there's water stuck in my ear, so I'm hitting my head. Don't do that. You might cause brain damage. Don't do that. You want me to tell you how to get the water out of your ear? I can tell you how to get the water out of your ear. You don't need fancy chemicals. What you need is, if you got a Q-tip, because look, I used to have a pool and got water in my ears all the time. Get a Q-tip, lay your head over. Don't do this. Just lay over. Use the Q-tip on the ear that has the water. Slide it in gently and press down on the air canal. You want to break the seal so the water is stuck. It's kind of like a little bubble. And if you use the Q-tip to push down, that'll break the seal, and then the water will be sucked up by the Q-tip, as in a vacuum suction. So just do that, and it'll come out better and faster than you think. Don't shove the Q-tip in and try to get the water out. Use it to open up the canal and allow the cotton to be an absorbent to the water. All right? Thank you for being here. It's 100 degrees at 11 a.m. yesterday. Woo! By noon it's 108. Holy crap. That's really hot, Tim. I don't think Cebu ever got that hot. Big John Taylor's back in the house saying, damn boy, you look good today. I'm like, well, I know. But thank you, John, for saying how good I look. Ah, okay, my brother said to hit it. No, don't do that. Don't hit it on your head. Don't do that. Now, if you were my brother, I would tell you to do the same thing, but I would tell you to hit yourself really, really hard with maybe a board. And if I could get you to do that, boy, that'd be really funny. But don't do that. Listen to me, and you'll be fine. Yep, get a Q-tip. You know what a Q-tip is, right? Don't shove it in. Don't shove it in. Put it in. Apply pressure. If you got to go this way, it doesn't matter. Apply pressure. It'll break the seal on the bubble. The cotton will suck up the water. But you got to lay over on the side, okay? Hello, guapo. Guapo. That's my handsome man I am. Or at least that's what I keep trying to convince people of. Nobody else thinks that but my wife. So, I feel like Grizzly Adams lately. Since our whole bathroom is discombobulated, and I am trying to grow my beard out a little bit for some reason. But today I feel like Grizzly Adams, a young Grizzly Adams. Some of you old guys know who Grizzly Adams was. But I guess a lot of you guys probably wouldn't know who Grizzly Adams is. Turkey baster can do it too. That's right. If you use a turkey baster, I don't have one in front of me, but you got to gently put it in, seat it up, meaning to connect as far as you can, gently. But you got to push the bulb in before you do it. Push the bulb in, put the turkey baster in, and then release the bulb. And that air will suck it out. Just don't cram it in there, don't do anything. Don't use a needle. Just listen to the old wise people and you'll be just fine. So, and then don't tell your brother that you did it. So that way, the next time it happens to him, you can remind him, oh no, it's a really good thing to hit yourself in the head and make him do it. So, I bet you $1, Big John is waiting for the girlfriend to call. Yeah, baby aspirator works if you got one of those at home. Any type of thing like that would be good. Yeah, I don't have one of those either. So, but that's how we always did it when we had the pool house and when we swim. We just use a Q-tip and do a little pressure. It'll come out. It'll come out. Don't stress over it. There's too many other things to stress over. One, why did you go swimming in the sea? Did you see any sea lions? What about the magical shrimp? Oh my goodness! I'm going to try to get some research in tomorrow. I'm going to try to get some research in because I want to talk about tomorrow night. So I want you guys all to be ready. I want to talk about the missing scientists, but I need to get my ducks in a row. I need to pull up some web pages and get organized so that we can have a discussion about the missing scientists. I'm going to set up a live stream tonight for tomorrow night where we're going to try to talk about this missing scientists, these 10 people. Well, they're not missing, they're dead, that have been missing and or dead, So now that the government is officially going to investigate it, I think we ought to talk about it. I know Craig is really busy down in Australia land. If he was going to be there, he would have all kinds of great insight for us. That he's going to talk about the second Sphinx behind the pyramids in Egypt. I haven't been up on that. If they found a new Sphinx or something buried, it doesn't surprise me. I mean, they don't know what's under the sand, and sand can build up quickly, 20, 30 feet in no time. So you can bury things in the desert pretty easily. So that wouldn't surprise me if they found something. I know in the beginning they didn't think the lions, or whatever you want to call them, the Sphinx was what they actually were. So remember how they thought they were just heads and they found they had full-size bodies and so forth and so forth. But we got 10 dead and or missing people that have connection to UFOs or UAPs or whatever you want to call them. So I think it'd be interesting to see what's going on in that world. So I'm going to get up on the research. It's making the mainstream news in America, finally, why this is happening. I guess the government has launched their own investigation into it. But that's kind of like, I don't know, the government investigating the government. You know how that works. It's kind of like the same concept when the police investigate the police. We found no wrongdoing. We found nothing, Yes, we spent $28 million to study this, and we figured out that there was nothing to study after we spent the $28 million. I think that's kind of funny. The other big news today, I guess, that's floating around is, what's the chick from Minnesota's name? Omar? I guess... You just got to wonder how stupid people get elected to Congress. But then you stop and realize, oh, wait a minute. That's not the issue. Because apparently now she's revised her financial statement to give to Congress, where they only are worth $100,000. So no longer are they worth $30 million in a matter of... Now they're only worth $100,000. And they're blaming it out on a calculation error. Their last report to Congress said they were worth about $30 million. Now they're coming back and going, wait a minute, we made a boo-boo in add and subtraction, and we're only really worth $100,000. Well, he's part of the 10, Tim. The general from Arizona is part of the 10 that they're investigating. And that's what I mean. I want to pull up all of that stuff that I can find and go, okay, here's this person, so that we know who they are, where they're from. We know, I know, just from the little bit of research I've done, they all do have a commonality, a common denominator in government and or aerotech space, some way, shape, or form. So there is like a bar that they all kind of are attached to that's floating out there. Oh my gosh, God, he went missing a good 6 weeks ago, maybe, Henry. I think a good 6 weeks ago, right, Tim? So, yeah, and he's one of the 10. So, it's kind of like, the X-Files in a way. The people, who find out something disappear, or, one of those black ops sites where they've kidnapped or killed insiders so they don't tell secrets. Yeah, he went out for a hike and never was seen again. Never seen again. So, and that's what I mean. I want to talk about all that, but I want to get it all together so that we can have a really intelligent discussion. So I'm going to do a setup for tomorrow night about that. I'll do that after I get off of here tonight. I'll get that set up. Because I think it's interesting. Alexis is asking, do you speak Spanish? I do not. I am no bueno en español. I hope that was right. I do not speak Spanish. I can barely speak American English. I can barely speak American English. So, and you're in the hospital hanging out with the doctors, flirting with the nurses. I get you. I know what you were doing. Hola is hello. Yes. Yeah. PAC, you have ever been all together before? No. No. There are too many of us in the PAC to be all together. There's just too many of us, Tim. You could never get us all together. You just can't do it. You just can't do it. Not gonna do it. Not gonna do it. So yes. But Alexis, I'm assuming you speak English, and I'm assuming that you're probably from Latin America. I don't remember where you told me you were from, but I remember you're from Brazil or Honduras or Mexico or somewhere like that. My wife speaks, she wouldn't say fluent Spanish, and I wouldn't either, but she's learning Spanish, and she's can have translated conversations, meaning she gets enough right that they kind of understand, and then they can explain it. That's right. Got that right, Tim. There's not enough Hawaiian shirts or hats to go around. But Tim is right. She speaks Italian. My wife speaks Italian very, very, very well. All you got to do is say LV. LV, woo! And she is there. She knows what you're talking about. She can tell you all about them. She can tell you all about them. But whatever. Everybody say hello to Dennis. Dennis, good to see you. We're going to talk about the missing people tomorrow night, Dennis. Just so you know, give you a heads up. We're going to talk about the missing people tomorrow. Man, we are. She does. She speaks LV. And soon she'll be talking or speaking Chicagoan. Tim says, hello to you, Dennis. Good to see you, Dennis. How are you, Dennis? How's the arm candy factory going, Dennis? So, The wife is working tonight, slaving away. She's already worked. She has today is Thursday, so she works today and tomorrow. More Spanish words for us non-Spanish speaking people. There you go. Tim says, hello to you. Buys arm candy is in the house. That is correct, Dennis. No ho? No. 9 ho? I don't know what you're saying. So, I thought 9 was German. You know, 9 was German. I don't know. But I do think it'd be interesting. But Lorelai's off Saturday. She works tomorrow. I think she's applying for other jobs. I told her to apply for jobs in Florida or remote work. You're from China. Hello in China. So you're hanging out in China? Then what? If you're in China, why in the hell would you ask me if I speak Spanish? Hello? Why would you? That doesn't really make a whole lot of sense now, does it? Somebody in China asking me if I speak Spanish. Oh my goodness gracious. What are we going to do with you people in foreign countries? Oh my goodness gracious. Great balls of holy fart fires. But everybody hates applying for jobs, but, you know, I recommend that she looks for a remote job or a job down in Florida where they pay her more money and I can go fishing more. One and the same. Now you're in the United States. Oh my God, you're saying hello in Chinese. Is that what you meant? You know, instead of hello in China, you were trying to say I was saying hello in Chinese. Because you are in the United States. See, you know. And if I can't speak Spanish, what in the hell makes you think I can speak Chinese? And I've heard Mandarin is one of the hardest languages to pick up. Tim says, you know, I live in the Philippines. I only speak English. But Tim, the secret, and Dennis, you're going to love this one. This is for you, Dennis. The #1 language in the Philippines is wallet. Wallet. Where'd my light switch go? Feels like it's getting dark in here. I don't know what I did to my light switch. What color am I wearing? So all we need to know to speak in English in Philippines is wallet. So you know how to say just hello in China, in Chinese. You know, there's a difference between saying I know how to say hello in China, the country, versus I know how to say hello in Chinese, the language. Okay? So there's a distinction between the two. So you got, you know, and I know it's hard for a lot of people that don't speak English as fluently or as a first language. Sometimes you got to realize where you're putting the emphasis on and what you're trying to, the message that you're trying to convey. So, but you're doing good. It's kind of like, I don't eat China, I eat Chinese food. See? If I was in China, I could say, I am in China eating. I know the dollar is a good translator. Unfortunately, I only have pesos. There you go. As long as you got plenty of them pesos, you can let them go flying. How's gas going? Is it starting to go down? How's your food cost? Is it going up? I figured your first language was Spanish. I figured that much out. I can be reasonably, you know, intelligent on Tuesdays. Never mind the fact that this is Thursday. So, yes, but it is funny how money talks. Money is a universal language. You know, now it may be so small of money that you get laughed at, but at least you get laughed at. And then again, if you wimp out, if you wimp out want a piece of plastic, and then everybody's eyes open up and goes, woo-hoo. Yeah. I know, Tim. That's what I've been told is. And here's the sad thing. Well, for everybody in the world, but especially for a country like the Philippines, the food prices have gone up 30%. They're going to go up further. Then they're going to come back. So let's say they make it to 40%. Here in a few months, they're going to start dropping, but they're going to drop to 20% of the 40%, meaning they're still going to be 20% higher, and that's going to become the new norm in the Philippines. It's one of the ways that, they jack up prices. So we jack it way up, and then we bring it down to make you feel like you're getting a deal, but even though you're paying twice as much. Henry's saying hello to you, Dennis. How's things in the Philippines and Canada? Diesel's down. Wow, that's pretty good. So that's a quick drop. That's a quick drop. I do think we're all playing games, economic games in the world. I think it's kind of sad, the games that we're playing. I know there's an end game to it. Big John is in the house tonight saying, I'm waiting for my honey to give me a call. She probably wants money, but I'm going to say no money for the honey. And she's going to go, well, there's no honey if there ain't no money. So, but I'm a little frustrated, and I know I don't know everything. I'm not an insider, but I know Trump has a strategy. I know there's a global strategy, and I know what he's doing. I think he's trying to make other countries step up. He's allowing Iran to attack other countries, which is smart, because that's going to piss other countries off. But I look back and go, if I was the United States, if I was the president, that's probably why I'm not the president, I would just go in and bomb the living shit out of it. I would blow up their entire coastline, every boat that ever floated, every port that ever had a boat in it, every oil field, every oil tank. I would just blow the goddamn place to living hell. And then go, there you go. We're ready for business. Don't even leave my house this week. The air quality has been so bad. Yeah. I can understand that. I got a list of chores I'm trying to do. Like yesterday, I did some rake rocking. I did it for about 10 minutes and had to take a break. So, my stamina is really shitty right now. But I got to start getting my stamina up for this cruise we're going on. I don't know how I'm going to do it because I'm fat and I'm lazy. I have no motivation in life to exercise or to breathe or to work out or anything anymore. Because when you're old and decrepit, when you go to work out, you usually just hurt yourself. When they say no pain, no gain, well, when you're my age, there's just a lot of pain, no gain. How much gain are you going to get? Is it really worth it? You got to evaluate. If all of this suffering I'm going through just to get a little bit stronger is worth it. When you're 20 years old, that's not a big deal. But when you're 22 years old, like me, it's a big deal. Well, yeah, you can definitely do that. But if the problem is that stupid little corridor between the island and the mainland, I can fix that. Why don't we just go put our own mines right there in the channel? There you go. What are they going to do to us? Just send a big-ass boat over there, big-ass ship with big-ass guns, drop crap everywhere blocking it, and there you go. There you go. So if they want to, because I don't think anybody's in control in Iran. I don't. I think they're all fighting for who's in control, which is part of the plan. But until that happens, you're going to have rebel groups doing one thing, another group saying another thing. So solve the problem. Just blow them all up where they can't do anything on the water. And get it over with. We're tired of it. I'm tired of hearing about it. You know what I mean? But I guess part of the strategy is waiting for Iran to do something to one of the NATO countries or something, but the NATO countries are too big of cowards. They're not going to do anything. Bonjour means goodbye in French. So, but those other countries they don't got the balls to do anything. And they want Trump to do it. Whether they bitch or whine about it, and it's not our war, it's not our business. They're very happy that we took care of the business. One, they didn't have to spend any money to do it. Bonjour, hello. Hello is hello in English. It means it's a greeting, a salutations in English. But I don't know. I get tired of hearing it. So that's why I thought we'd talk about the missing people, the 10 dead people, missing people, whatever you want to call them. Bonjour is hello, you think it is? I thought it was goodbye. Bonjour. Maybe it's hello and goodbye, kind of like in Hawaii. Aloha is goodbye and hello, if I remember right. See, in America, we want to make it really clear what we're sending the message about. If we're saying hello, that means we're welcoming you. When we say goodbye, that means we're telling you to get your happy ass down the road. So we're making it really clear. No confusion. My hello doesn't mean goodbye so that you can stick around longer. Mine means get out of here. Go on down the road, you. I pronounce that horribly. What does that mean, Tim? You got to give us the translation. But we're really pretty simple in America, Hello means all right. And then once we start throwing out bye or see ya, that means we're done with you. You pack your shit and get. So we don't want any confusions. Any confusions about which direction you're coming or going. That's why a lot of times I never say hello when I worked. When people would come knock on my office door, depending on who it was, I would never say hello. I would always say, how can I help you? Because I don't want them to think they're welcomed in my office to waste my time. This is not a social call, it's a business call. So, how may I help you? Meaning, get to the damn point and get the hell out. Then that's in hello in Korean. All right, nice. And then the other words are, I will take that under advisement and get back to you in due time. Meaning, get the hell out of my office. If I want to deal with it, I'll deal with it. So, there you go. Now you know how to do business in America. In America. The land of the free, the home of the brave, and the home of the middle finger. We're not even going to try to pronounce that. We're not going to do it. We're just not going to do it. We're not going to do it. All right, Tim. Be safe. Take care. But yeah, I'm excited about talking about the 10 people. I just don't have enough information right now. I did get some new cameras. I've been having this weird thing. Well, I guess I watch too much YouTube. We live in a really safe area. We really do. It's becoming less safe every year that I live here because the population's exploding. But we still live in a fairly safe area. But I guess I watch too much YouTube, and now I've been thinking really hard that we need to buy a couple of poo-poos to have so that we can blast an intruder at the door, like you see so much on YouTube now. And then, of course, I bought some new security cameras. One to watch the birds with, but I got 3 others. I bought 4. So I got it this weekend, maybe think about where I'm going to, I don't know where I'm going to put them yet. I haven't thought about that. But I'm going to put one on the front of the house, I guess, one on the side of the house. And we'll see about the other one. I don't know. But I got some new security cameras, and they all go on my phone app, which is really nice. They're all belong to the same app. And the app is one I've been using on my bird feeder cameras for quite a while, so I'm used to it. It works good. So I spent about $150 to $200 on cameras, and because, you know, all these videos on YouTube are all of these crazy Karens banging on your door, the neighbors, or somebody trying to kick in your door, and, you know, and all of this. Like that weird guy out, you know what was funny? I don't know if you guys saw the one about that weird guy out in California who broke into that guy's apartment looking for some girl. You know, he had weird glasses, had a funny face. And I watched that and I went, you know, only in California would that happen. Because he was out there ringing the bell, screaming, yelling, banging on the camera, banging on the door for 3 to 5 minutes, kicking on the door. Only in California would he make his way inside somebody's house. Any other state in the union, he would have been not moving ever again. I was shocked. I sat there and watched that before I knew it was in California. I sat and watched, and I'm like, why isn't the homeowner unloading on him? Why isn't he sending him a bucket full of lead? I don't understand that. You know, I'm sitting there watching it. Man, if I was the homeowner, that guy would, you know, I would open the door, drag him in, beat him to death. I mean, I don't know what in the hell you people are doing. Then I realized it was California. Do you play games when you were a kid? No. When I was a child, I had a very horrible childhood, and my parents made me go to work from the age of 3, and I never got a day off. So all I did was work 16-hour days at the age of 3 shoveling coal, and that was my life growing up in the coal mines of West Virginia. You should have lived where I just moved to. It's not safe here anymore. And now the hospital and those detectors that you have to go through, yes. Well, we have metal detectors here too. We have detectors to get through here. I think that's the way it is anywhere anymore, especially hospitals, schools, places, public buildings. Anywhere you go, even in this part of the country, you got, you know, security to go through. Yeah, I agree. 5 years ago, it wasn't that big of a deal, but it's the same thing here, and we technically live in a safe place. But if you want to go to any of the local city offices, anywhere here, you got to go through the screening. But I was shocked because I'm sitting there watching that video and going, how is this guy still breathing? It can't be the state of Texas or Arkansas or Louisiana or Mississippi or Florida or Alabama or the Carolinas. Hell, it can't be any of those normal states. It can't be Arizona, Wyoming. You know, then I found out that it was out in California. I'm like, there you go. So the reason they did that was because one of the patients that was in the hospital decided to get revenge for the abuse he got from one of the doctors in there, and it's been getting worse. Well, that happens. It absolutely happens. I mean, we have police officers stationed at every hospital here. So, you know, they have armed police officers. Now, they have to pay for them. But our hospitals, emergency rooms have armed, you know, off-duty police officers. So, just our schools have that now. And metal detectors. It's just the way it is. It's just part of normal life these days. Too many people have gone a little, you know, apeshit bat crazy with their mental health issues. Too many people wanted to be famous for a wrong thing. But yeah, I mean, a lot of times medical people make a lot of mistakes. I've seen a lot of it times in a lot of videos where these medical people aren't behaving correctly. They think because they're medical professionals that they're gods on earth, and they're not. You know, you see the good videos where these people are protecting people from the American healthcare system, right? Getting them out of the ER and getting them protected, especially old people. And then you see the ones where, you know, it's like the jailhouse nurse who's under a lawsuit now. And what is that, Georgia? I think in Georgia there's a large lawsuit going on because in Georgia, in one of the counties in Georgia, when somebody gets arrested, if they invoke their right to be silent, the nurse will say they're suicidal and put them in a 3-day holding cell for suicide watch, which is violating their due process. It's getting horrible in Georgia about this issue. And they're only doing it because the people will not speak to the cops, because you have a right not to do that. You have a right to not self-incriminate. But they're hoping that you will go, no, I will talk to the police now. Please don't make me go in there for 3 days without any rights. But they've been caught. They've been caught on camera. There's lawsuits filed against them. There's going to be criminal charges brought up against the nurse, the county, the deputies, the jail. It's happening more and more. You can't do something like that. And there's a lot of times the nurses will say, well, if you don't submit to a blood test, then you're drunk. Well, no. Remember, you're innocent until proven guilty, not the other way around. Well, I was at the hospital, and I'm not kidding. The doctors there are very abusive. They don't care about their patients. They won't even listen to the patient. Well, a lot of them won't do that. The nurses are even worse. That's because they think they already know the answer, and they think everybody's there just for drugs. So they think everybody's coming there for drugs. One doctor actually went out of his way to blow out a banging in my arm, and the nurses was right there and kept arguing with him because I'm allergic to tape and adhesive. Yeah, I get that. They didn't understand what's the difference between an adhesive piece of tape. There's no difference. I can loan up stickers. Yeah, I understand. I get it. I get it. You know, we haven't had too much of that here. But the second time before last, I was really sick. I went in, and the doctor was like, well, you don't seem on your blood work to be really sick, or we can't seem to find anything wrong with it. So he indicated that I was faking it. I said, all right, well, I'll go home. You know, said if you can't find anything wrong with me, I'll just go home. And he's like, well, you know, and I'm like, well, what? And Lorelai's in the little emergency room. I had to go to the emergency room. This is the time before last. And they ran a bunch of tests. And, you know, I did start feeling better towards the end. But, you know, I have all these weird conditions. And he came in and was kind of like, well, you don't really, you know, equipment-wise doesn't detect anything. So it doesn't really seem that you're feeling as bad as you think you are. I'm like, okay. I sat up and said, I'll go home. Got dressed, and Lorelai and I left. He just kind of stood there looking at me. I said, well, where do I check out at? You know, so I'm not going to play any games with you. I'm not going to do it. And when I was out of my coma, they sent me to a rehab center that I didn't want to be in. Didn't want to be in. And so I left a day and a half after getting there. And they got really pissed and tried to keep me there. And I told them, well, you're going to have hell to pay. And I left, signed the documents, and I booked feet. Yeah, I know. You know, they do stuff. They can't figure out anything out because you got to remember it's called practicing for a reason. But they love running tests. They love earning money, racking up money. And then, of course, they always think you're making it up or you're on drugs or you're only wanting drugs. And this last time I went there when I was having a heart issue. I thought I was having a heart issue. I didn't know what it was. Lorelai finally made me go to the ER. I took some nitro. They offered me some morphine. And I said, no, last time I was here, you guys indicated I was faking it, looking for drugs, which was that time I was talking about. So no, I don't need any of your drugs. I don't want any of your pain meds because I don't want to be accused of wanting your damn pain meds. She's like, no. Well, I don't know about that, sir, but we really highly recommend that you have this because there's something going on. And I'm like, well, just give me the nitro and I'll deal with it. Pat's in the house. Good evening to Patrick. Patrick, how are you today? What's going on? Everybody said hello to Pat. Dennis in the house. Henry's in the house. No, How are you doing today, Patrick? And Lorelai's, well, no, go ahead and take it. Go ahead and take it. And I'm like, well, I don't want to be a big drama shit. I don't want people thinking I'm a drug addict because I'm in the damn hospital, because I come to the emergency room. Doing good, nice. So you feeling better today? Or you having a better chest day yourself? I'm struggling breathing a little bit more the last few weeks, I gotta admit. So I did get a new rescue inhaler. But I also know, I don't know why, but it's also partly because of the air quality, you know, with all this crap in the air. So I need to get my fan out. Hold on, guys. I had to get my little pink fan blowing. It's a little cool to have the window open tonight. So I shut the window, but there's also no air going on in the house either, so it's a little stuffy. I says, hello, Brother Tim. Yes, Tim is in the house. Everybody's in the house tonight. Tonight's the night. So yeah, you know, the hospital stuff is a mixed bag, you know. And what really pisses me off sometimes is because I've been in the hospital so much for so many serious things. And it's the same hospital system. All you got to do is look at my medical chart and realize how screwed up I've been over the last 15 years. So, if I'm telling you something's not right, something's not right. I'm not the one who passed out, who fell on the ground trying to get into the hospital due to my heart failure. You know, one year we were rushing to the ER. Lorelai took me. I thought I could get out of the car and get through the doors while she parked the car. No, I didn't make it. You know, they had to come and pick me up and drag me out of there because I had heart failure. You know, I'm the guy that was in a coma in their damn hospital, you know, who died 4 times in their care. Just look at the damn history. Don't feed me any bullshit about, oh, you're probably wanting drugs or you're faking it. Just read my damn history. So that's part of what irritates me is, you know, you got to look at the things as a whole. But what do I know, right? And they don't want to listen to patients anymore. They don't want to do that. We've all been beat up, yes. Body and all, body, mind, soul, and spirit, we're all wore out, Pat. We're tired. We're all tired. And that's why a lot of people, one, because of the cost, but two, a lot of people don't go seeking care anymore because they don't want to feel guilty about it or feel like they're a burden or be asked 20 million questions, you know, intrusive questions. Well, you know, have you been taking any drugs? Well, of course. I take drugs. Hello? You know, I mean, yeah, you know. I would take more if I had them. No. But you know what I mean. So, I don't know. Kind of crazy. The world has gotten a little crazier. But, you know, my personal doctor is a good guy, which I'm lucky for. My heart doctor are good people. You know, he was really happy, my heart doctor, when he realized that we moved back from the Philippines to America. He was really happy about that. And he was really happy that we had them do the new pacemaker. So, because he was a little worried when we left that I was going to have the pacemaker replaced in the Philippines. And he was very, very worried about it. He told me, he said, oh man, you need to fly back to America. I'm telling you, you need to, whether it's Guam or Hawaii or New York, you need to come back to the United States to get your new pacemaker. So when we had it done here last year in his place, he was very happy. He's like, wow, you know. Like, I'm sure they're good, but I'm just glad you're back in America to have that done, you know. And it was easy here. It was easy. So Patrick, what's new with you? How's your brother doing? How's the fiance of the brother? You know, do they got the K-1 visa processed yet? Is she on the waiting list to come to America to become America's #1 bride? That's the question. That's the question. Question of the day. I know I was talking to MJ the other day. He's going to try to get an annulment in the Philippines for his girlfriend, Venus. And I know that's going to be a challenge. I do believe that, you know, the older I get, the wiser I get. I think the Philippines is a great place to spend time. But even being back in the U.S. now, Lorelai and I have talked enough that we don't think we would ever retire full time in the Philippines. We wouldn't do it. We have properties there. If we didn't have dogs, maybe we would go over for a few months out of the year, but we wouldn't live there. A lot of the Filipinas, and Lorelai's come to this, and a lot of them have, to understand how much easier it is to get along in America. Not yet, they're still working on it. He's going to hopefully get to go back maybe this year. That's good. He needs to go back and see his honey pie, sweetie pie. But I do think in a lot of ways, it is easier to live in the United States than the Philippines, even though it may be cheaper in the Philippines relatively, but it's getting more expensive there, right? Just like every other country. But it's still less traffic-y. You can get around. We follow rules here. You know, health insurance, health care is better quality. You know, if you need something, you can have, you know, you can get it. You know, 99% of the time, if I need something in America, I know I can get it. It's a 50-50 in the Philippines, even for Coke. You know, the one thing I knew I could get to drink in the Philippines was C2. So, but, you know, getting a Coke was not guaranteed. So, you know, a lot of them, I've talked to a lot of the girls that are married to husbands and husbands here, and they all talk about, after a while the girls realize that it is just way more convenient to live in the United States. Now, the only problem is them becoming Americanized, right, or Westernized, which I need to finish my video on that. But it is more convenient. And as Lorelai has talked about, as the older she gets, she struggles health-wise. She's had an aunt die at a young age. She's had 3 other cousins die at very young ages, in their 30s. And there's a really good chance that if some of the health issues she's had, if she would have been living in the Philippines, she wouldn't have survived them. So you got to kind of look at it that way. And that's something that we see. We see on a regular basis. So you got to be careful about that. So hopefully he'll bring her to the United States and they'll be happy, happy campers, you know. They'll be happy, happy campers. Because I know you're not going to get to go back this year, Pat, so I know that. Henry says, I know that I'll only stay there a few months because I can't handle the heat. I love the heat. But I'm only going to have a small house there. Yeah, the problem, and this is what we debate on a larger scale, is we don't even know, because look, we like to travel, but if you've been to the Philippines, you've been to the Philippines, right? But there's so many other places in the world that you can travel to, so why would you give up, I mean, for us, I think about, well, why would we give up 3 or 4 months out of our year to go sit around in the Philippines when we could spend that 3 or 4 months traveling and doing other things? The other thing that concerns us is if we decide that we're going to have a permanent property there that we're going to go visit only 2, 3, 4 months out of the year, well, what kind of condition is it going to be in when we get back every year? We're going to have to trust somebody to take care of it and to watch it. You know, that's a big trust in the Philippines. That's a big, big trust. Or we're going to have to let somebody, a friend build a house on our property to watch our property and give them a place to live for free, like as a caretaker. But that's still a big, big if. That's a big ask in the Philippines. In America, you could have, if you're gone for 4 or 5 months out of the year and you got a house, you can set it up where a neighbor or a friend checks on it and you're not going to have to worry about it. And the Philippines is going to be careful that it's not going to be taken over or rented out by your cousin's niece's nephew, or when you get back, there's going to be 20 people living in it. So that your wife's sister says, oh, can I stay in your house for a few weeks or a few months while you're gone? Oh, yeah, that's okay. Then all of a sudden, her entire family is in the house, and when you get there, there's 20 people living in your house. So, I've seen that happen. I've talked to guys who've run into that experience. So I think that's something to be aware of. So that's why, even though we have properties there, I don't know how we'll do it. We do plan on going back. But as I've said, next year when we go back, we're only going to go back for a couple of weeks, and then we're going to go to Singapore. Yeah, I understand the logic. I'm just saying, don't be shocked if your place to stay isn't there. Now, if you do a condo situation where it's protected by a condo building, then maybe. But having a house out in a neighborhood, well, don't be shocked. That I see and hear it too much. Yeah. What do we call them here? What are they called here? Squatters. We call people that do that squatters in America, right? So, but I get the logic. And I tell people, because I talk to a lot of guys, and I tell people, look, if you and your wife want to go back for 3 or 4 months out of the year, now, if you have properties that families are living, if you got a family and you got a big enough spread where the family can live there, but you have a place to stay that you're comfortable with for 3 or 4 months out of the year while living with that family in your house, then okay. But you got to realize that's what you're going to do. You're not going to have a private dwelling. If you want a private dwelling, just go live in a condo for 3 months. We got people that go to Makati all the time, and that's what they do. They go and stay for 3 months, and they have a condo there. Their condo's perfectly fine every year. We've been invited to go and stay at their condo the other months if they're not there. But we don't want to go to Makati. But, a condo works. It can be secured. But a house, if you're going to leave it empty for 9 months out of the year, well, good luck with that. One is going to be ran over by rodents, rats. I'm the same way. Love to travel, love to see new things. I'm excited about the cruise we're going on. We're going to go see the Cayman Islands. We're going to go to Jamaica and the Cayman Islands this year. Yes, yeah, they're in a neighborhood. They are, a gated neighborhood. Yes. They're in a gated neighborhood, Pat, yeah. But that doesn't mean anything. The neighbors will rent your house out. The neighbors will move into your house. So, and it's not any better living out in the province. You know what I mean? It's really not. But I understand it. I'm just, I don't care what anybody does. I'm just trying to give words of advice to people. If you think you're going to go do that, just be aware. And I really do recommend, just go there for vacations. If it's kind of like what Lorelai and I would like to do. Every 4 or 5 years, we'd like to go spend a few weeks in the Philippines. And that's pretty much it. And we're okay. And look, if all I'm going to do is go to the Philippines for, a month at a time, I could afford to book a nice resort or a nice hotel and be treated like a god while I'm there. I can afford to go to a nice hotel or a nice resort and spend the month, being taken care of and then come back home. Yep, I know, and it's a good thing that I have good friends that live in the Philippines. So they said they would watch out for the house I'm getting. Yeah, I understand. We got the same good friends. We got the same good friends, Henry. They're more than happy to take care of and watch our property, and we trust them. We do. We do. But never say never. It's one thing I've learned over my many thousands of years of being alive. Never say never. But we don't want to just sit around. I don't want to sit around in the Philippines because I find the Philippines quite boring, to be honest. I would rather sit around in Florida and go fishing a lot because at least I can go fishing in nice, clean, safe waters. Don't have to worry about all the pollution or the drama. So I would rather, if I'm going to sit around and do nothing, sit around and fish in Florida or Alabama. So that's kind of where I'm at on that because I do find the Philippines boring. I really do. But for a vacation, I think it's a great vacation spot. And I encourage everybody to go there at least once. But we'd like to go to Thailand, New Zealand, Australia. Holy crap and butt farts. There's so many places to go in the world that, my God, why waste your time in the Philippines? I get if you're a single dude and you want to go live there because you can't afford to live in America and it's just cheaper to live there. And maybe you want to hook up with the girls all you want. I know that group of guys that do that, and I get it, okay? But they're not buying property either. They're just renting condos or houses, right? That's what they're doing. And they're staying there, and they got to leave once in a while to get their visas renewed and come back like AJ and others, that we know. So, which is all fine to do if you're single, because when you're single, you can do a whole lot more in the Philippines than being married. Yep, Pat lost his house in Negros Occidental in 2017 by the ex-girlfriend. From YouTube, paid for the house, paid 10 something for. Yeah, I know. I remember you telling me about that, Pat. You got scammed. Yeah. And a lot of people, and I counsel people all the time, do not buy somebody's house. If you're not married to somebody, don't buy them a damn house. Why would you buy somebody a house or a car that you're not married to? Now, if you just got shitloads of money, yes, I wish somebody would give me enough money so I can buy Lorelai a house. So if anybody's listening or you have any rich friends that can give me a house, but you can afford to do it, I would appreciate it. But logically, why would you buy somebody a house that you're not married to? I mean, I get it. If it's mom, your real biological mother or father, all right, and you got the money, you can take care of mom and dad, all right, I get that. But why in the hell would you buy a girl a house or a car? A little scooter in the Philippines, $1,500, all right, you're getting laid a little. Whatever, you're going to pay for it one way or the other. But a $10,000, $15,000, $30,000 car, no. It was a vacation house. It was supposed to be a vacation house. Yep, but she said, nope, no, thank you. I'm going to keep the house though. You met her from the yahoo.com. I know. But all of you guys, everybody out there should tell every other dude, don't buy some girl a house. Don't buy them a car. Oh, it's all right, Pat. I understood. Don't do it. I mean, if Lorelai and I wasn't married, I wouldn't have done any. I mean, of course. Right? Wouldn't have done it in a heartbeat. Not at all. So, because I see it. I hear it. I've been around it since I was 18. I know the ins and outs. Not YouTube, but Yahoo. Gotcha. You met her on yahoo.com, yeah. And a lot of the girls will hustle you. They're playing 3 and 4 or 5 different guys at a time. I see it all the time. I see it today. They're playing whoever they can play. And you can't hold it against, I don't hold it against them. Because if I was in their situation, I would do the same thing. If I was a good-looking chick with big tits, I would have an OnlyFans page. Look, I don't hold anything against them for trying to make money and trying to do whatever they got to do to survive. So if I was able to have a successful OnlyFans page, I would have one. Absolutely. If I was able to hustle men out of money just because of the way I looked or spoke, damn right I would do it. If I could hustle women out of it, I would hustle women out of money. Just, they wanted to share their wealth with me just because I'm handsome and charming. All right. But I'd have to be single to do all that. Just make sure you understand that. Never give any more money. That's smart. Smartest thing you can do is not give money away. I'm just saying. Money's too hard to come about. It's too hard to get in the first place. I never recommend giving up an opportunity to make money. I'm one of these people that I'm very generous, and I have been over the years, probably to a fault. If I had all the money that I just gave away to help people, I wouldn't need somebody to buy my wife a house. We'd already have it bought. But I've given away a lot of money over the years, a lot of money. But don't ever, so there's two sides of the coin. You need to be generous of heart, but you need to be smart and never turn down a way to make money. Just as when I was still, before my heart failure, and I had to quit and retire from work, anytime anybody said, we have this class, we need somebody to teach, I went, I'll do it. How much does it pay? Oh, it doesn't pay? Oh, never mind. But anything that paid me money, no matter where it was, consulting, teaching, I didn't give a crap what it was. I'll do it. Because you never know, and this is what I tell people, take this from me. You never know when you may not be able to make any more money. Me. So for years, I busted my ass. I did everything I could to make money. I gave a lot of it away. But there did come a point in time when I was way too young to retire from work that I had to stop working and I could no longer bring in money. So if you got a chance to make money, make it. Tim is back in the house. He's back in the house again. Number one advice. Pat says hello to you, Tim. Good to see you, Tim. But that's my number one advice to anybody. If you got an opportunity to put cash in your pocket, you better do it. Because there's going to come a day, a point in time and day, whatever that saying is, when you're not going to be able to put cash in your pocket anymore. Timothy is saying, hello to you, young Mr. Patrick. Very good to see you this evening, Patrick. So, but that's my advice for one, living in the Philippines, two, making money, giving money away. So just be aware of that for anybody who's listening. But we, I don't know. I don't think I'm a stingy person. I just learned the hard way that I made too many mistakes in my life. I supported too many people that are to this day ungrateful. Bank as much as possible for as long as possible. That's it. That's my strategy. Never turn down an opportunity to put money in your pocket. Never. And look, I know people that have a little, and I can't do it, but I've offered. I know people that have little businesses, and I've offered. I said, look, I can't do a lot, but if you ever need somebody just to drive your vehicle or drive this or do a driving thing for a short time, and you got some cash, look me up. But that's about all I could ever do. But I can't do it, so. We all did. We worked hard. We worked hard. Well, some of us hardly worked, but some of us worked hard, Pat. But yeah, we did. And I think it's good to be generous with your funds. Don't get me wrong. But you gotta, it's one thing I try to convey to my wife, Lorelai, all the time. Look, buying stuff and having nice stuff is really good. But you're not going to be very happy in 20 years if all you have is stuff, but you have no money to live on and you have a house payment. My number one goal for Lorelai is to have her a house before I die, that's 100% paid off. Number one goal, my number one goal in life, is to make sure when I kill over dead, which could be any year now, that she'll be able to live debt free. But you got to remember, when you're debt free, you have power. A lot of people don't realize this, but a person who's debt free has more power than somebody who makes shitloads of money but is buried in debt. Because when you're debt free, you have freedom. And freedom is power to choose what you want to choose. When you have debt, debt is handcuffs. A debt keeps your hands cupped together. I think living comfortable would depend on which part of the United States. I think in let's go with like developed and rural areas. And developed areas, which now you got to exclude California and New York because I think those are anomalies. I think in California, parts of California and parts of New York, you probably need up to $10,000 to live comfortably. My part of the country is going way up, but you could still live comfortably here for about $4,000 a month. But if you go somewhere like Southern Alabama or Mississippi, even you can probably live comfortably on $2,000 a month, depending on your comfort level. Florida, you probably need $4,000 a month to live comfortably, depending on what you consider comfort. Chicago, you know what I mean, Tim, right? But in some places, you're going to need that $10,000. In other places, you can get away with a couple of grand. And that's one of the nice things. After I retired, I lost everything, so I had to figure out how to get back on my feet, and that's what was, yeah. Well, it is hard to do to get back on your feet, but I think people look at it the wrong way. Starting over or getting back on your feet needs to be looked at as starting over, not trying to get back to where you were. A lot of people think, oh my God, I got to get back on my feet. I got to get back to where I was. When this happens to you, the best psychology is to take a reset. Go, okay, I was here, and here's what happened. Now I have this great opportunity to build a new pathway. Instead of trying to rebuild the pathway that I collapsed, I'm going to make a new pathway. I think that's what we screw up a lot of. We screw up that. You got to immediately replace everything that you lost, instead of looking at it as an opportunity to create a brand new pathway. And we did that, even though, we lost $150,000 moving to the Philippines and back over that time. Net worth. So, but when we came back, we had everything pretty much like that, the way we were before we left. And that was probably a mistake on our part. We could have done some things differently. And we should have done things differently. So, but our net equity went down by a huge amount. Or net worth. And that was contributing a lot of factors. The market, everything. I see people here who spend $7,000 per month and are just $7,000 and are just surviving. Are they alcoholics or drug addicts? Because I do think this, Tim, if you're an alcoholic, and we know a lot of the alcoholics on here. We know them all, right? We know a lot of these guys that are just there to drink because they think it's cheaper. They can live some little shithole shack as long as they get their booze. They're okay. $7,000. I've never heard of anybody spending $7,000. I got friends, people that I know that bring in that kind of money, but they've never spent that kind of money to live in the Philippines. I've never heard anybody dropping that kind of coin. Even the ones that we know that live in Makati City, or Makati, however they say it. Now, they did pay outright cash for their condos, but See, there you go, Henry. You took the opportunity to change the pathway. A smart person assesses what went wrong, what went right, and what you want, because you may not want either. That's correct. No amount of money is enough, no matter what. Because if they don't just drink it up, they will blow it up having friends paying for friends, right? So maybe if they shut themselves in and live in a small condo, right, and they get their booze delivered, they can live a lot cheaper. But alcoholics are, by nature, are usually sociable creatures. They want to justify their drinking by having a community around them. And if you got the money, then you're going to pay for the others to come and hang around you and be drunks, right? I'll buy the booze, everybody, over at my house, whatever. You're going to pay for the girl to take care of you, to go get the booze, how it is. You're right. Same thing with drugs. There's no amount of money that's enough for a drug addict. There's just not. Started saving money when the pandemic started in 2020. Nice, nice. Money's hard to get. It's hard to keep. It's what I tell Lorelai, is money's hard to get, but it's even harder to keep. You know what I mean? And then some people are like, well, why are you trying to keep it? You can't take it to the grave. And I'm like, no, but I do need it to live today. And I need it to pay my bills for tomorrow. I may not be worried about putting it in my coffin and taking it in my grave, but I am damn worried about paying my bills tomorrow, the next day, being able to live the life that I want to live. So yes, I can't take it with me, but by God, I sure in the hell do need it. And I would rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. Well, there's one thing a lot of people miss about, you can't take it with you, so we're just going to piss it away today. Well, if you piss it away today, you're definitely not going to have it tomorrow. Pat says, when I was in the Philippines, I didn't drink much, 4 beers, Jack Coke once in a while. I had watch over my shoulder. Yeah, you do. If you drink, that's it. That's smart. You don't want to be in a foreign land. Well, to be honest, you don't want to be anywhere and let your guard down, even the United States. And that's what I mean. A lot of drunks, alcoholics lose a lot of money because their drinking group, the girls they're around, they're going to pilfer through the wallets. You're going to be spending a lot of money other than just on your own booze. Always plan ahead for financial success. That's right. And planning ahead for financial success is avoiding disasters, I think. How do you prevent a problem from happening? Is the question. How do you solve a problem? You prevent it from happening. You foresee it happening. And that's what I've done all my life in my career. I'm like, we know if we look around, there's this problem that could happen. So a smart person is going to analyze, how do I prevent that problem from happening? Well, if I have, no feeling in my toes, and my toes get chewed up all the time because I wear sandals, well, maybe I'll put socks on and or I will wear closed-toed shoes. My toes won't get cut up all the time. You prevent the problem from happening. The problem is your toes get chewed up, they get infected, and you die, right? Tim says, look up the 50-30-20 rule for budgeting. It does work. I agree. I know the rule. Yep. You gotta, and I believe you gotta pay your savings first. I do believe you gotta spend a little money on yourself and treat yourself, but I think you gotta be careful and understand your wants versus your needs. I think your needs come first. And each individual has to decide what their future need is going to be. Henry said, well, never had that problem when I was drinking heavily. If I didn't have the money, I'd stay home or would go home. There you go. But a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people have a drinking group, a buddy system of alcoholics. I know this because of being around my brother all his life, all our lives. So usually, when one doesn't have enough money to go drinking on, maybe their other buddy does. And so it's kind of like a buddy payback system. The next time, maybe buddy number one doesn't have enough, but buddy number two covers buddy number one because buddy number one did it for number two, a couple of months ago. So that may be, Henry, maybe. But I saw that all the time. I saw how they took care of each other, enabling each other to keep each other, to justify their alcoholism. Because if you got buddies and friends in the community, the alcohol community, then that helps you justify that, yes, this is okay, what we're doing. Saw it, lived it for years with my brother. Just telling you, I know how this works. I can say more than 40% of your income, outstanding. Outstanding. I can probably save myself 25% of my income. Not saying what my wife can do. I have to do the math, but I bet you I could save 25%. I probably save 20 now, but I could probably do 25. Which is not good. And that's kind of my point about owning a house outright. It's why I need to win the lottery, or I need to figure out a way to get a house paid for. Because once you don't have a house payment, well, there you go. That 50%, you can have 50% or more in savings that you can use for travel and other things. And that's what I look forward to do. I would rather be debt-free on a house and blow money on travel than to have a house that I'm deeply in debt for and be locked into staying in my home because I can't afford to go anywhere because I got to pay a house payment. As I saw a lot of drunk fights in the Philippines, stayed away from those. Yes, they throw coffee up, beers, bottles, everything. Yeah, I agree, man. It can be a little bit of a wild thing in the Philippines. I have a brother who doesn't know how to quit. Enough is enough. Yes, for him, and I lost count how many times I've had to pick him up off the floor and take him home. I agree. My brother was that way. He's dead now, but he was that way. So I totally agree, guys. I totally agree. But all we can do, what's best for people around us, is to do what's best for ourselves. I'm a firm believer that you got to take care of you first. Before you can take care of anybody else, you got to take care of you. Now, it may be a tiny bit different if you're married. I'm doing things behind the scenes that will protect Lorelei, whether she likes it or not, right? But in general, I use the airplane analogy, the flying analogy. You remember how when you get on an airplane, they say, in case of an emergency, when the oxygen mask drops, put it on you first before you help anybody else, right? Money's the same way. Put the oxygen money mask on first. Then, if there's a need and you want to help others, then you can. But if you don't help yourself first, you won't be able to help anybody else. And you're going to feel really bad when you find out most of them just took your advantage of your kindness. Henry agrees with me and says, you know what, Mr. Hartman, you are absolutely true. So that's my biggest advice, my big advice. And never loan money that you expect to get back. If you're loaning somebody money, you're not loaning money. Right, you saw an airman once that bought a BMW, but he couldn't afford the gas to drive it. I've known people like that. I've known people that, bought big houses, but they couldn't afford furniture. You know, they couldn't afford the utilities. You know, it's kind of like, well, this is really stupid. You know, cars that they couldn't afford the insurance on. I had a friend at the college who bought a car that they couldn't afford the $800 a month in insurance because they didn't think about it beforehand. Jimmy is back in the house. I never could understand why people would drink themselves to oblivion, puking, aching. That's not fun. I agree with that, man. I don't either. Says Jimmy says, hello to the very handsome young man in the fedora, the stingy brim fedora at that. Well, thank you there, Jimmy. Well, but a lot of that time, when you're a kid, all right, you think it's cool to get drunk and you don't know how much to drink and you puke everywhere and you're stupid. And you, when you get sober, you go, oh man, I was so cool. But as an adult, it's because you're an alcoholic. You can't control yourself. Everybody said hello to Jimmy. I know a lot of people like that, Henry says. Pat says, hello, Jimmy. Good to see you, brother. How are you, man? What's going on in your world today? Jimmy. So that's what I mean, right? But when you're a teenager, we all thought it was cool to get to drink and to go to parties and to get so smashed. Oh, my God, you know, I got drunk, you know. So... But as adults, if you're still doing that, you have a serious problem. You know, a 16-year-old kid is just stupid and not smart. Next day, it's even worse. Screw that. I agree, man. I agree. It's like jet lag times 10, right? But it's kind of like it's kind of like bar fighting. When I was a youngster, you know, go to the bars with the brothers. Brother was always causing shit. Get into fights, you know, have a good old time. The next day, though, I kind of get up going, damn, somebody must have hit me harder than I thought, you know. So, I'm with you, man. But usually, the older we get, the smarter we get, at least some of us. I don't know if that's for me, you know, I don't know if I've gotten any smarter. But, you know, a lot of us get smarter the older we get. Or we just get tired. we don't like feeling like shit in the morning, so we're not going to do that anymore, you know. We don't want to have to work so hard to date this chick, so we're not going to do that anymore. We don't want to feel like human shit dating this girl just to have a girl to date and being bossed around all the time, so we're not going to do that anymore. Hello, Tim. I do like to drink. I like the feeling of being drunk, but I don't like suffering. All right. I don't know. I wouldn't be able to tell you the last time I was drunk. You know, I like to drink like on the cruise ships. I like to have one drink a night because it helps me sleep on the boat, and I like it. And they make good drinks. We have some drinks here during the summer, but I don't remember. I mean, a slight buzzed. You know, the Red Horse beer is really strong, so I can drink one nice cold Red Horse beer and have a nice simple buzz, but it wears off in 10-15 minutes. But I don't remember the last time I was actually intoxicated. Luckily. You know how to drink without getting stupid with it. I got no problems with it. I mean, even now, I still have one or two beers and I can call it quits. I used to drink literally every day, yes. I'm older than dirt. I've been told that I never grew up. There you go. But, you know, but why would you want yourself to feel like shit? We all know that if you drink too much, no matter who you are, the next day you're going to feel like shit. And even on YouTube here, we know enough of the YouTubers that get drunk on their live stream, and you don't see them for 24, 48 hours because they're hungover. I mean, they may be alcoholics and used to it, but they wore their, you know, they're not doing good for a few days. We've seen Michael McFarlane literally pass out on YouTube. A decade ago, I used to knock that 15 drink limit out by the park by 10 p.m. Woo! Man. I couldn't do 15 drinks in an entire cruise. I just couldn't do it. I mean, I could maybe push 2 a day. If I tried really hard, maybe 2 at night. You know, 1 at dinner, then 1 at bedtime or something, 1 at a show after dinner. I could probably get away with 2. If I have a scooter to take me, you know, so I don't have to walk. 15, that's what I mean. We would never buy the drink package because there's no way. And now you got to make sure whoever's in your cabin is on the drink package. So if there's 2 of you got to buy 2 drink packages. And there says, no, something's growing up isn't always good because it means more response. No, I agree with that. And thank goodness I didn't get drunk in the Philippines, maybe tipsy, no hangovers. Yeah. Yeah, I don't remember getting drunk in the Philippines either. I mean, I drink more Red Horse in the Philippines than I ever did in America. You know, I drink more beer there. 1, because I was bored shitless, nothing to do. And 2, it was easy to get Red Horse, and I like Red Horse. And it was cheap, but I was bored shitless. I drink more in the Philippines than I do normally ever. Well, you know, when I was last in the Philippines, I never would drink off base. Then, and a couple of times I started to, never felt safe, so I always stayed on base when I was drinking there. That's smart. When that hot Filipino comes around and asks you, you can't just say, well, I can't, I'm married. If I don't say no, man, I get smacked upside the head. Are you kidding me? But I understand what you need to do is say, baby, are you single? You know, I'm a single man too. We need a mingle, baby. Woo! Bring me another drink and let's single. And why do you think they put the pretty girls out there trying to solicit drinks? If you put a bunch of ugly fat men out there, how many drinks would they sell? Now there's no basis over there, so I got no reason to try drinking. There you go. The Philippines, people love to drink. I mean, Americans love to drink, but I think the Filipinos love to drink more than the Americans. I don't know. You know, Americans seem to be, I know Lorelai thinks it's funny. We've had this conversation about, she thinks it's funny that when Americans get together, like if we all did a meetup, a North American meetup, for the drinkers out there, or all of us, if we all got together somewhere like in an outdoor venue, we would all sit around, whether you drunk alcohol or not, and shoot the shit. She doesn't understand how Americans can just go somewhere, sit down and shoot the shit, versus having to sing and dance and eat the food, right? So I think it's kind of funny. They don't understand how laid back and easy flowing. And when the guys all come to the house here, some of them drink, some don't, you know? But it's, you know, I know they all think, wow, this is really weird because Americans are just so low-keyed. I can see Lorelai smacking you upside the head. Yeah, I can't even, look. I have flatly explained to Lorelai that I didn't even know that women was a thing before I met her. I didn't even know that women existed, that was even a possibility before I met my wife. 10 years ago, my doctor asked me if it takes 3 to 4 drinks to get you there, why do you drink 5, 6, 7, and 8? Made sense to me. Well, was the answer because I can? But he's got a great point, you know. But it's the same thing with eating cheeseburgers, you know. If 1 cheeseburger would do you, why are you having 12? But yeah, so, but I know it's funny. But I think the Filipino people drink way more than Americans do. I mean, I think they put away more. They, you know, Americans seem to be a little bit more, well, people our age bracket that drink seem to me the ones that drink a lot, the alcoholics even, most of them are slow and steady drinkers. The young American kids are the binge drinkers. Woo! oof. But a lot of the alcoholics and adult men, like even myself, if people are here, I'll have a Heineken or a Guinness or a Red Horse. And if I'm lucky, I'll have 2 throughout the whole night. Slow drinking people. Where, well, I can only say that when I was drinking very heavily, there is a few times that I was there when the bar opened until it closed, surprisingly. Never really dealt with the hangovers. There you go. But when I didn't have my drinking buddies and all that stuff around me. It was just something I did on my own, away from the chaos. All right, nothing wrong with that, you know. I mean, when I was a teenager, under 21, I closed bars. I had no problem. But I went with my brothers, and they're big drinkers, and we closed many bars. Not a big deal. Remember many of the lights coming up? The lights would come up, the house lights come up, and you realize how nasty, filthy, and disgusting the bar that you're in looks like, right? You guys ever had that experience? You're at a bar, and this is kind of cool. And then you're there at 2 o'clock, and all the lights come on, and you go, oh my God, this place is filthy and disgusting, you know. Been there, done that a few times. All right, so tomorrow night, we're going to talk about the 10 people, scientists, space people, whatever you want, government employees, ex-government employees, that have disappeared over the last little while. So when we go live tomorrow night, be ready to talk about all this strangeness that's going on. I'm going to do some research so that I can talk intelligently about it. But I want to discuss and see what you guys think about all of these people that either been murdered, lost, disappeared, died unexpectedly of weird diseases, to see if we can't come up with a conclusion about what's been going on now that our government is looking into their deaths and or disappearances. Many people that go to the bars are loners, and they hate to be alone. Yeah, I know. Loners that hate to be alone. My brother is that way. My brother hated to be alone. He couldn't stand it. And maybe that's why I'm not an alcoholic, because I'm really happy being alone. I don't mind it. I enjoy solitude more than probably most people. I'm good with not, especially if I can just go fishing. I really am pretty good with living in my own private world. After all these years of speaking in public and dealing with things, I'm pretty happy with a small world. So, all right, my friends, let's jump off of here. But remember, tomorrow night we'll come live again. We're going to try to talk about those 10 people, see what we can come up with. But let me thank you all for being here tonight. Remember, a thumbs up on the way out if you haven't done that. Man, we appreciate you guys. Everybody say goodbye to each other. I think I need to take one of my inhalers. They say if you use this too often, you got to switch to a daily inhaler. So I'm trying not to use it very often. All right, Jimmy, Patrick, everybody, you guys take care. We will see you guys tomorrow. Get some rest, everybody.